the first card you have for your past is the Eight of Cups. Yeah, I'm just looking at these cups and the kind of gap, and I just think someone might have been seeing you through their own perceptions of you, if that makes sense. I think they were seeing you as they thought you were, but not as you actually were. And I think they might have been a little bit emotional as well, and I think they were seeing you through these emotions that they were having. If you look at this Wall of Cups in this card, it's like a wall of emotions, and there's a gap. The third cup's missing, and this gap is a little bit like a window, and you can see the man directly through that window. So they were really, really emotional, and they were watching you, and they're watching you walking away through those emotions, if that makes sense. And they couldn't do anything about it. This sounds really sad for them, but actually I don't feel that sorry for them, because I think there's a reason why you were doing this. They just couldn't do anything about you kind of walking away and refusing them. And I think that was a big part of why they were so emotional. I think they were feeling a bit out of control of the situation, and they just couldn't control what you were doing. You were making your decisions, and they couldn't control that. And they wanted you to come back. They wanted you to do what they were expecting you to do, but you weren't going to. And I think that's a part of what this problem was. It was that this was expected of you. And when you didn't do what they expected you to do, they felt this sort of out of control feeling, because you were out of their reach. They couldn't reach you anymore. This man's far away from us. We can't reach him. If we put our arm out, we couldn't touch him. If we called him, he probably wouldn't be able to hear us. He's far away from us. So, you just weren't hearing what they had to say anymore. And I think you just had enough. Something that they did, or the way they were behaving, and they're expecting you to do something, or they're expecting something from you, and enough was enough. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the next card you have your past is the Seven of Pentacles. So I don't think they were super controlling or anything like that, but they were seeing everything through their own sort of emotional filter. They couldn't see things from anyone else's point of view, just theirs. They couldn't put themselves into anyone else's shoes. This is what they were like. And I think they thought that you were better off than them in some way as well. It's like, and they expected you to kind of help them out and sort of even things up between you, if that makes sense. But you put a lot of work into yourself, and you put a lot of work into your work, or you have done, and you still are, I think, and that's why you were in the position that you're in. I'm not saying that you're a millionaire or anything like that. You might be, I hope you are. But part of their perception, I think, was that they thought that things came easily to you, and that, in contrast, things were hard for them. That's what I'm seeing. They're kind of looking at this imbalance that was in their head. It wasn't real, it was in their head. And, look at this man. He's looking over this bush, and this bush is so healthy, it's so green, it's abundant. And that's there because he's worked hard. He's had to plant a seed, he's had to water it, take care of it, make sure it has the right soil, protect it from birds and insects, whatever else comes along. But they couldn't see all of that work that you'd put in. They could only see what you had. And even then, they're a bit deluded over what you actually did have as well. They probably thought you had a lot more than you did. And maybe this sounds a bit horrible. It sounds like you don't want to help them, but it wasn't that. It was about this person's attitude and their perceptions of you and the whole situation, and the way that it differed from the actual reality of what was happening, if that makes sense. And the biggest thing I can see in this is that they're expecting things. It was like, you've got this, I've got that. I expect you to do this for me. That's what I'm seeing in those two cards. So the last card you have for your past is the High Priestess. So yeah, the High Priestess can be this woman that no one can reach. She can be, she's wise, she's mysterious, and no one can quite reach her. She's kind of up there, up in a cloud or whatever it is, and no one can quite get to her because she has all this knowledge and she's kind of up there. So this is how they were seeing you, I think. They saw you as someone who was high up somewhere, and Also, someone who's a little bit mysterious because you weren't telling them what they wanted to hear. You were just telling them what the truth was, but they didn't want to hear that. So they're like, oh, why don't I get what I want from you? Why aren't you telling me what I want to hear? But yeah, they were very, very deluded. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is that I think you were going through some up and down emotions. And I think part of it was because of this person, but I also think that I don't think it was for any reason, really. I think this is just how your feelings, how you're feeling. Your feelings were sort of just up and down, and they were kind of going up and down in waves. I don't know if you can see this. I'll move it up so you can see. So if you look at the bottom of that card, it's, you know, if you see the bottom of her dress, it looks a little bit like waves, and there's a crescent moon there as well. And, you know, waves and the tides are affected by the moon. So I can just feel these emotions going up and down several times a day, maybe with you, kind of going up and down, up and down. There might have been some tears even, and I think this has been going on for a few weeks with you, actually. And, you know, when you first experienced this, it might have felt a little bit scary. You might have thought, oh, am I going to be depressed? Am I down? Is this going to stay like this? But then I think you're able to manage this. You might have said something to yourself like, oh, my feelings will go up again. They went up before, after a downtime, they'll go up again. And so you manage this. You kind of talked yourself into managing this really well. And I think you just sort of rode each wave as it came. We'll move that back again. And like I have that as well. I have these crazy emotions that go up and down, up and down. And instead of sitting with a terrible emotion and thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to be like this forever. Because you could, when it's like that, when you are down, you do feel like it's going to be like that forever and ever. And it isn't. And they go up and down. So I just tell myself, this is going to pass. I won't be like this forever. It's like this for now. But then I'm going to feel a lot better later on. And so I'll just stick with what I'm doing. I'm going to try and make myself feel better, or I'll just know that it will pass. And that's what you were doing in this card. And I really resonate with this myself. I really feel this myself. Now, you're probably going to have a few more of these up and down feelings, I think. There'll be less of them, I think. It's going to pass. It's going to become less and less as time goes on. But the fact that you've learned how to manage them, I think, is already helping to make you feel a bit better as well. You know, telling yourself, this is going to pass, this is going to pass. And knowing that it will as well, that's making a big difference, or has made a big difference for you already. So the first card you have for your present is the Nine of Swords. Yeah, I think this person who wanted you to change your mind, this person in the Eight of Cups, they might be feeling a bit despairing at this time, really, really down, like this poor woman in this card. But I think they're magnifying this in their mind. It feels a lot bigger and a lot worse than it actually is, because I was seeing that they were a little bit deluded, more than a little bit actually, and they still are. They're still in this kind of delusion. I think this is someone who you used to be really close to, actually, but they crossed a line. They crossed a line with you, and that was it. You were moving on. And so I think they have this mindset of, you know, how could they? We were so close. How could they say no to me? How could they say no? How could they do this to me? That's the kind of mindset they're in. But, you know, having been close to someone once doesn't cancel out everything else that they've done. And I think they've said and done some pretty, well, not nasty things, but some things that were really kind of, they're very, I don't know what the word is, very kind of, they think that everyone owes them something, and I think they think that you do. So yeah, this is all tied in with their emotions and their expectations of you, and I think it's going to take time before they'll be able to sort that out for themselves. All these different issues and these delusions and all things are all kind of mixed up in their mind right now, I think. So, you know, if this is resonating, they are going to move on from this. I think they still might be trying to contact you or connect with you in some way at this time. But, you know, I am getting this sense of calm around you now. You're being calm, and I think you're making an effort to be calm and not let this person bother you. You're really making an effort to move on. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have your present is the Hierophant. Yeah, I'm getting this feeling in this of wanting to change a situation that you're in. I don't think this is totally about money, but I think it is related to money in some way. And this is something work related, I think, that you're trying to get into. And there's some kind of puzzle. There's some kind of puzzle that needs to be solved around this. Something needs to be sorted out before you can actually go ahead and do this. And the Hierophant's between these two pillars, and also there are two people in front of him. So, and to me, they're like two sides, one's on each side of him. So they're like opposing views, or two completely different people with two different views. So there might be people with these different ideas, two completely different ideas, trying to give you advice on this. And they're trying to help, I think. I don't think they mean anything bad by this. They're trying to help you. They're trying to do a good thing. But I think they might actually be leaving you feeling even more confused. So, I think the solution's actually inside of you. You probably know what the answer is, but maybe you're not trusting yourself to give yourself that answer. You might be looking outside of yourself, but I think the idea, or the answer to this, is inside of you. Because the Hierophant, if you look at the Hierophant, his ears are covered. He doesn't listen to what other people have to say. He listens to himself, and he listens to his own inner voice, and he trusts his own inner voice. So trust yourself. The answers are probably a lot closer to you. They're probably inside of you. So, listen to your inner voice. Listen to your inner voice. That's what I'm seeing in that card. And you'll find the answer. You'll find, there are these two keys. You might not be able to see it. I'll move that down in front of him as well. And so if you listen to your inner voice and what's inside of you, the answer is in there, and that will open up, that will unlock the answer for you to whatever this thing is. So yeah, the last card you have, and I'll move that up again, for your present is the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, I think you have someone around you, and I think this is a love connection. But I am seeing potential in this. So it might be someone who you're just talking to. It might not be, you might be in a relationship with them already, but it's happening slowly. This is the slow card. I think you're happy for things to be happening slowly, actually. You're not in a hurry at all. You're actually very cautious, not afraid, but you've just got this, you're slowly getting to know them, I think. And I think this person might sneak up on you, actually. Not literally, they're not going to hide around the corner and scare you or anything like that. I'm seeing feelings starting to sort of build up without you noticing, kind of sneaking up on you, and then you suddenly realize how you feel. It's like, oh wow, I really have these feelings for this person. It's that kind of thing. So I think you'll be really surprised by your feelings when they do sneak up on you. And this is a stable person. This is a dependable person. They're a complete, they're the complete opposite of the sort of people you're used to dealing with, actually. So yeah, this is growing very, very slowly. You might even just be friends at this stage, or you might be at the beginning of things. You might not even be thinking of this person as, a serious contender, but it'll catch up with you. That's what I'm seeing. It's going to catch up with you. The first card you have for your future is the Knight of Cups. So I actually think, this is annoying me, actually, I've got to say. I think you might be getting a message from someone, a text or a message on social media or something like that. This is someone from your past. This is someone from your recent past, actually, I think. And yeah, this is really annoying me. I don't see any reason why they're contacting you. I don't think they want to have an actual relationship with you. I don't think they want to totally let you go either. This is not the same person as the Knight of Pentacles. This is a completely different person. Yeah, I'm actually seeing you kind of thinking something like, what do they want? Why are they contacting me? And, there's just no point in them contacting you, and that's what I'm seeing. Maybe they like the attention, it might be that. But, I'm just looking at the difference between this knight and the Knight of Pentacles. And it reminds me of the difference between these two pillars in the High Priestess, and, there are pillars everywhere in the Justice card and in the Hierophant. So these are two separate things. and all of these three are right in the middle of these two separate things, these two opposing things. And these two knights are the complete opposites. They're in opposition with each other. So, you know, this knight in the Knight of Cups is beautifully groomed. He's a bit like a knight in shining armour, but he doesn't know what he wants. He's kind of walking up to the river and he stopped, but he won't cross over, he won't drink from the river, he won't do anything. He just doesn't know what he wants. And the Knight of Pentacles is way more stable. He knows what he wants and he's prepared to put the work in. He puts the hours in and he gets what he wants, and he's very patient. So he's the complete opposite. So if I were you, I'd stick to the Knight of Pentacles. Even if you're interested in this person in the Knight of Cups, I just think you're going to be so frustrated with them that they'll drive you crazy, even if you have feelings for them. I think after a while, when you've dealt with this person, and you might have already dealt with them, I think, because they're from your past, they will just drive you absolutely crazy, and you'll end up, any of those feelings are going to disappear very quickly if you take up with this person in the Knight of Cups. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have for your future is the Five of Cups. So yeah, this is the same person again in the Knight of Cups, I think. This is really strange because they're going to be contacting you if they haven't already, but not because they're coming back to say sorry or anything meaningful at all. They might just be coming back to say hey, or something really silly. They've probably always been a bit like this, actually. I actually think they might have broken up with someone else and they're a bit miserable, like this man, and they're kind of looking around to see who they can get a bit of attention from, and you're one of the people who they're looking at. So you know, also again, if you look at the Knight of Cups again, he's dressed to impress. He wants attention. And also I'm looking at the bridge on this card. They're trying to keep a bridge open between you, just in case. They might be kind of contacting all these different people from their past and saying, oh, are you interested in me? Can I have something with you, or you, or you? You know, it's not you that they want. And they're not even showing you that. They're not even saying, I'm sorry, or, you know, I want to see you, or I want to start again, or anything. They're just saying something stupid like, hey, or something. And it just means nothing. It's meaningless, completely meaningless. So please watch out for this person if you know who this is. Don't let them mess with your emotions. Don't let them mess with your head, because I think there might be a danger of that happening. Because I think you still have, even though they drive you crazy, there might still be a little bit of a soft spot for this person. So just be careful of that. The last card you have for your future is Justice. So yes, here are these two pillars again. So I think I actually saw this thing in your last reading. I think you only wanted people around you who were going to align with you and sort of flow with you, if that makes sense. And, you know, so these two pillars are aligned perfectly. This is perfectly symmetrical. So everything's lined up. Everything's in perfect place, in the perfect position. So you're very, very careful, being very structured about who you want around you. And obviously this person in the Knight of Cups isn't one of those people. So I don't see this in this card very often, but I think this friendship or this relationship or whatever this is that I'm seeing in the Knight of Pentacles might actually lead to something really serious between you. It might even lead to marriage if this is something that you want. But there'll be a long road, a long, long road before you get to that stage with this Knight of Pentacles. Things take time with the Knight of Pentacles. And I'm also seeing someone who might be a bit older than you, so there's a possibility that they might have been married before, or they might have come out of a really long, serious relationship. It might be that, but it definitely looks really good for you. And I think you were looking for stability in your last reading. I'm seeing that again here. So here's the stability that you want. Justice is very stable, very balanced. Everything's set. Everything's, you know, symmetrical, and so this is very balanced for you. And also you have a stable person in the Knight of Pentacles. So there it is. You've got the Knight of Pentacles. That is a very, very balanced person for you, who is who I think has a very, very promising future with you. That's what I'm seeing.